Just look her in the eyes. Do you feel immersed?
Do you feel your blackness exuding it? What was it? What
Do
is
you
it?
feel
Full of the exaggerated swagger of a black team.
Exaggerated swagger.
It really makes you feel like you're Black Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh. Black Spider-Man.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Super Agile Bros. You already know what it is. We got myself here, Bradston. We got Kyle. Say what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
And we got Steve in the building. Steve, tell the people hello.
It's rainy, but hello.
It is raining somewhere on the planet. So, cool. It's good to have Kyle back. We were missing him in our last episode. If you haven't listened to our last episode, please go back. We talked about Gamescom 2021. It was just me and Steve, but Kyle was there the whole time. And I think he said it to me. I don't know if he said it to both of us, but he's like, man, I had so many opinions.
Yeah, I was there in spirit and then also listening in the shadows.
I was really tempted to tell you to just post in the Discord and we could just read what you said. But
I considered it, but I felt like it would have broken the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would have probably accidentally closed Discord or something. I hate Discord so much. So
I was watching. I was waiting. I saw you type something near the end, but you took so long.
Yeah, I stay away from Discord at all costs. I'm just afraid of it. I don't know it well enough. So, but welcome back, Kyle. Good to have you, because I know this is going to be a good one to be on. Missing the Gamescom one, no disrespect to Gamescom, but this one's going to be a good one. So, like I said last time, we reviewed the Gamescom's opening night, 2021, all the games that they showed. It was 2 hours long. We had opinions. Check it out on the last episode. I think you'll like to hear what we think. But today, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation State of Play, right? That's what they call it.
The right? Sony State of Play.
Sony State of Play.
Yeah, there you go.
I call it the PlayStation Showcase. I know
it might as well be.
But we're gonna go and talk about all the different games that Sony shared, all the reveals, everything that happened. It was a super. I don't know. I have a lot of opinions about it, but I guess we could just get right into it. I guess just from an overview standpoint, did y'all like the showcase State of Play? What was your vibe on it? What did y'all feel about it?
Especially in comparison to Gamescom. I just have to say, I appreciate how little they talked.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you guys were talking about it, and it was eating me up as you were talking about it in the last stream, about how they were just on and on, just talking. Show the games, please. And that's what they did here. And so, no issues there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was so clean. And there was no fluff. I really felt like they were just shooting through, and here's all these games that everyone wants to see or that look interesting. And the ones that weren't interesting were teasers.
Yeah.
And it's oh, cool. So it's out of the way pretty much. Except for maybe one or two that kind of overstayed their welcome, perhaps.
Yeah, I can think of one that was a 10-minute trailer, which we'll talk about. I feel same vibe as you guys for this one. I feel like it's interesting because I feel like the people who run the gaming industry kind of have their own motives. Okay, we're going to have random celebrities talk at our conferences, or we're going to have, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They have a feeling for what they think gamers like, when honestly, we just want to see the games, right? We just want to see what it is. We just want to know when it's coming out. We want to know what system it's on. And if, so on and so forth. And if there's new hardware. And I feel like Nintendo, maybe not Microsoft so much, and PlayStation have kind of evolved with the gamers and realized gamers just care about the games. Like, let's get straight into it. And even before E3 kind of like disassembled and they were still doing like the actual conferences per company, I feel like PlayStation always kind of understood it. Like,
yeah.
They were a little less fluff. Not that they didn't have fluff when they had the stages, but
They had that one year where they had the guy with the flute.
what?
I forget what year that was. It was at one of the E3s.
Oh,
but yeah.
wait.
They had the dude come out there and do a flute solo for like what felt like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I don't recall that at all. This sounds meme-tastic. I don't know how I missed that.
I know they had like years ago. I think it was Sony. It might not have been Sony, but I distinctly remember that moment.
I remember
sounds like Nintendo, to be honest.
Nintendo or somebody doing like DJ Ravi drums, like had this weird. Maybe that was the flute thing. And then there was like when Wii Music came out, and they had the Aqua thing with all the Nintendo execs, like, and it was so bad. Like, it was so bad, long,
missed inputs.
Like, oh yeah, like y'all can't even play your own game. Like, come on.
Have you ever thought about the fact that Wii Music barely even feels like a real game? Like, it really feels like a joke that somebody made that video. Like, here's this fake game about how silly Nintendo is. That's a real game that they sold. Yeah. I don't know if it went to stores, but at least was online for the stores.
It was in stores. I have a physical copy of that game.
Why?
Because I was young and naive.
Because when I saw them perform on stage, I knew this is what I needed. So that's why
This is the man who I catch playing mobile games all the time. These like games that play themselves. You just leave it on your car stereo or something and let it play while you're driving.
Get that XP, man.
Tell me you don't do that.
My least favorite part of a game is the grind.
Mm.
Yeah, so find a game that is nothing but grind and grinds for you.
Mm-hmm. His least favorite part of a game is the gameplay.
Yeah.
So it's like
pay to win, baby.
Y'all made me think of something. But yeah, like, conferences in general, like, they're just like they don't seem to speak to the gamer. It's really like, I guess, a mix of like investors, right? Like, they're trying to like woo investors to their systems, like back in the day at least, because like hardware is just getting released, and like you want developers and like publishers to like release their latest game on your system and only your system. And I feel like since this age of consoles or whatever are like going to be like 15 years, it's like they're like, we're done. We're just going to talk about what we're making.
Yeah.
And, if you want to be on our team, you're on our team. And, I
mean, Nintendo Directs are cringy, right? They have that like really bubbly voiceovers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still quick. It's still knock it out.
24 minutes?
Yeah.
40 minutes tops.
Do y'all remember when Nintendo did their conference and it was like a Star Fox theme one and had the puppets? Like, it was like a Star Fox puppet.
I only remember the puppets. I don't remember actually watching the conference.
That was when Reggie was there.
Yes, Reggie was still there. And they did like the slow walks, like down the corridors. I think that was the best Nintendo moment, like, ever. Like,
also the most cringy, but I agree.
It was the most self-aware Nintendo has ever been.
Mm-hmm. It's like, Nintendo's just your uncle who don't care. He just live his life.
I would say that and the Smash 4 Mii fighter reveal where it was Reggie versus was it Iwata or somebody? I forget who's who.
I missed that one.
They revealed the Smash 4 Mii fighters by having these two old men do this like super cringy old school kung fu type some anime battle with like Dragon Ball Z style blurred fists.
No. I remember that.
And one of them's throwing punches and Reggie's blocking. And then and then they shifted to like the actual Miis that they had made of themselves, and they're fighting each other in Smash. And that was how they introduced the Mii fighters.
I didn't realize that's what that was for.
Yeah.
I feel
that's hilarious.
Nintendo's the only like company I'm okay with the unnecessary like stuff. Because like you said, they're super self-aware. They know what they're doing is goofy. I mean, the whole Animal Crossing, like when Reggie was doing the showcase and he was walking through the game, he's like, you can do this and do this. And then like his Animal Crossing character goes into the basement and then like has a gym set in the basement and does like one bench press. And he goes, my body is ready. Like that's like iconic. My body is ready. Yeah. Like nobody could do that better than Nintendo.
No.
Like accidental memes, but it's what they mean to do at the same time. So
can you imagine PlayStation Jim Ryan coming out here?
Oh my god,
with fighting against PlayStation of Japan or something like that? Like,
oh my gosh.
But the thing is, PlayStation definitely tried to do that stuff in the past, but they just kind of recognized like this is not our place. Like they kind of just went straight to the games. Microsoft went more for the like, I'm gonna have a Lamborghini on stage that we like fly in with a jet, and then we're gonna have Lionel Messi kick a ball. Like they
you like money, kids?
Yeah, you like money. We got expensive things up here.
They're going for the luxury brand.
Yes.
But it's not really working.
No.
Hey, that's just, and that, at the end of the day, if you think about it, Microsoft is the most out of touch. If you think about it, like Nintendo's the most in touch as far as the gaming goes because their whole company is gaming. They don't have like they're not a division of a bigger company.
Right.
They're just Nintendos, right? Nintendo. And then PlayStation is a division of Sony, but like Sony, like during the recession back like in 2008 or whatever, the PlayStation division propped up the company. Like it was the only thing that was profitable during the recession. So like they really were like, yo, we respect PlayStation, and they gave them all the, whatever they kind of let them free to live their lives. But Microsoft is just like, look, you gonna do it this way. We gonna have it this way. Like they just still, I feel like
you're gonna like it.
You gonna like it.
On the other hand, Microsoft's doing a lot of cool stuff with games. Game Pass is cool. They got streaming on lock.
Yeah,
I just because they want that money.
I feel like Microsoft's never doing it for the good of the people, but the good of their,
Well, sure. And maybe more than others, maybe it's like that. But at the same time, they still manage to, I think, give more value to the customer than like Sony does.
So this is what I'm going to say about Microsoft. And I know we want to talk about this PlayStation state of play, but like, were y'all there during the fiasco of the Xbox One when it was getting released? Yeah, like how that all went down, that series of events. So,
are you talking about how it was supposed to be online only?
Yeah, like not online only, but
with
online
the discs, where you
mandatory.
Yeah.
Like so basically, for those who aren't familiar with this whole thing, basically like whenever the PS4 and the Xbox One were coming out, and it was like they were both about to release around the same time. It was a console war, and before E3 happened, both PlayStation and Xbox, or Microsoft and Sony, had like mini conferences. This was like the first time this ever happened. They did like little 30-minute events, kind of prepping people for what was to come. And everybody
knew
that.
Like an Apple keynote kind of thing?
Yeah, like a little keynote. It was pretty short, but it was like, it was almost like they were like, hey, we want to get this stuff out of the way so we can get to the meat and potatoes at the E3, right? And like, I think Sony had done something, and then Microsoft was like, hey, we're revealing the Xbox One, and they talked about its capabilities and all this stuff. But one of the big things that they said that basically got the internet going crazy is that in order to play your games on the Xbox One, you always had to be connected to the internet. Yep. And so your games would like lock out, like you couldn't even play it. And, for people who don't live in places with like internet ready available or spotty internet or just don't have internet for whatever reason, and they're used to just plugging in their system, like they basically said like, hey, we don't care about you. We just want to stop people from basically giving their games to other people. It was just DRM, right? And basically what happened is everybody hated it. And within like a month, they completely changed course. Completely. And see, to me, I'm like, cool. I'm happy you guys changed course, but it kind of revealed who they really are. Their goal is to do the Apple route and lock you in their ecosystem and to nickel and dime you. And that's kind of when I got off the Xbox train, and that's when I switched over.
Yeah, how out of touch do you have to be for that to feel like a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
Like on one hand, it's like cool. It's great that they're able to take criticism, but that was whack. It was super whack.
To showcase that, like you legitimately think people are just going to accept this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of where you could tell that they're just a company. They're not a game company. Like they're just like, you know, they're used to being in the Microsoft world where you can do that kind of stuff. Oh, everybody's stuck on Windows. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, in Windows 11, we're doing this, and you have no choice. So I guess I got Windows. I got to do it. You know.
That's true. Now Windows 11 is introducing that new TPM requirement, so you can't even upgrade your computer unless you have specialized hardware built into it. And a lot of people do have it built in, but like older computers won't have it.
Gosh,
it's like I hope you want to buy a new platform.
But what they did is they laid the carpet out, you know, for the other companies, because 100%, I was going to get a 1. Like 100%. Because I love my 360. And I was like, bump it. I'm getting a PS4. And I'll never get an Xbox console. Unless I have like copious amounts of money in the future. But anyway. So, I don't know. I feel like conferences are just, you know, they've changed. But it's good to see like PlayStation really gets it. And it really was a good conference. So let's go ahead and jump on in, man. So, you know, basically, I mean, long story short, first of all, if you haven't seen the PlayStation Showcase, shame on you, or the PlayStation State of Play, go now. Because it was like,
just call it what you're going to call it. You don't have to. You don't have to correct yourself every time.
I'm trying to be politically correct.
Go watch Sony's Nintendo Direct.
Sony's Treehouse, you know. But yeah, you know, they just, I mean, honestly, they just did a little intro like, hey, I'm the president of Sony Entertainment. I get money. Here's some stuff y'all gonna like. like
legitimately.
That's legitimately how it felt. They did
like
do
dollar bills hanging out their pockets.
Like, y'all gonna like this. I promise you. Get them checkbooks ready. First of all, before we jump into it, did y'all watch that intro video? Like that super long, like, people in real life chess game thing? Did y'all see that?
No.
It was at the very beginning. It was like, I didn't know if it was a game reveal. I didn't know what was happening. It was like this weird thing where it's like all these people in real life and they were like kind of playing a game and there's like characters. It was like 5 minutes long, maybe.
No.
That must have been some sort of pre-show. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was at the very, very beginning. If you go back and watch it on YouTube, it's there still. So you just go back and watch it. But essentially, it was like, you know how like there's all those commercials for PlayStation? I think Xbox does it too. Where it's like real people playing a game. And it's like talking about how immersive it is. I think that's what they were going for. But like, to be dead honest, I thought this was like a reveal for a new, like, I don't know, like Grand Theft Auto or something. I don't know what was happening. But
what was it?
It was just a commercial. It was just a play PlayStation. We got great games kind of commercial. Like, it was super strange. But yeah, go back and watch it. I
went back and watched the GameSpot, you know, stream, and they must have cut that out because it starts with Jim Ryan.
I watched IGN's and they cut out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I watched it from Sony Direct from the PlayStation channel.
Yeah, that must have been a pre-show or something.
Yeah, I mean, it just like Sony started. It started with that, and then it ended. It was like 40 minutes long, you know. So, who knows? The first 5 minutes was that weird video. So yeah, go to the PlayStation channel, watch it. It's really strange. So anyway, they did the intro. So the first game was Knights of the Old Republic Remake. So one thing that I want to say about what I do appreciate about the Sony showcase is that they do what game conferences used to do, where you don't necessarily know what the game is. It like reveals it in the trailer instead of Gamescom where they're just like, now we're going to see the new Halo reveal. And I'm like, bro, like, you're killing the excitement.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. So anyway, what do y'all think? Do y'all have any opinions about Knights of the Old Republic? Have y'all played it at all?
No, it's just a game that I've always heard people talk about and always heard, I want to see a remake or I want to see a port, and being disappointed when there's no port. So that's cool. And it's apparently one of like the greatest Star Wars games. And it's also cool because I wondered if Disney was allowing that to remain canon. because they uncanonized a lot of the non-movies, but I guess they're keeping it around.
It's probably been in development for a while.
I mean, not longer than Disney has owned Star Wars.
Yeah, and they can a lot of projects, so that isn't a good argument anyway.
Yeah, because they made there's like Knights of the Old Republic, Knights, like there's another game, Knights game, right?
SolTOR, I think is the acronym. I forget what it stands for.
KotOR, Knights of the
That's
Old
what this
Republic.
one is?
Yeah, that's what that is.
Oh, so they are the same. Okay.
Yeah, there's another like Star Wars game that's in the ilk of KotOR, Knights of the Old Republic, but it's different. But these are like MMOs, right? Like from what I recall, I've personally never played it, but I'm pretty sure.
I thought KotOR was a single player game.
Is it?
One of them is, and then the other one, because one of them is like almost turn based, or are they both almost like it's like this weird real time turn based?
Like they didn't give us anything, man.
Yeah, one of them is a MMO for sure. I remember that. KotOR might not be. It might just be a single player game, but I remember there just being a lot of like light and dark like choices, like Renegade and whatever kind of choices, and it being like.
So I did play that one.
Yeah, so it should be cool. I mean, I've never played it, so I will probably play it on my PS5. Awesome, looking forward to that. So. Cool.
The trailer was kind of cool. I didn't really understand it though. It was like Kylo Ren with a Boba Fett mask.
So I think
that's not Kylo Ren. This man needs to read up on his extracurricular.
Knights of the Old Republic happened like hundreds of years or something, maybe 1,000 years prior to the mainline, trilogy. Skywalker saga. So that is probably for people who know KotOR. They're probably like, oh man, this is super cool, because they kind of maybe picked it up, and that's why it was kind of like a reveal. So,
nice.
Probably just went over our head.
That's a well-known character. I don't remember his name because I am not a huge Star Wars buff, but that's a guy that people would know about at sight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
If I heard his name,
that means if anyone listens to this, I'm going to get destroyed.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Knights of the Old Republic is one of those like games that like it's just like I know of, and I feel like as a real game player, like I should have played it, but it's just never was in my life. I think it was a PC game or something back in the day. All right, so next one, Project Eve. Okay, so this one was like a 5-minute trailer, like maybe longer. Yeah. What y'all feel going?
It was exactly 4 minutes,
really?
According to these timestamps.
Wow. So what do y'all think of Project Eve?
It looked pretty okay. I was kind of confused at first because the character design is very similar to the characters in Bayonetta. Mm-hmm. Like the costume was very similar, and then she had the long black hair. And I missed the title of the game at first, and I was like, I didn't think this was on Sony platforms. And then it kept going, and I was like, oh, the graphics are a whole lot better in this Bayonetta game. And then it wasn't Bayonetta.
The environment's totally different from Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Like it became less and less Bayonetta as I watched.
To me, it looked like... So this is funny. Have you guys heard of Parasite Eve?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kyle, have you heard of Parasite Eve?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't remember what it is.
All right. So, I don't know which came first. There's a Japanese movie, and there's a series of video games. I think they're like old PlayStation games.
The games came out first, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it was the games first, which is weird. And the movie, from what I understand, has nothing... I think I've seen the movie, actually. It was a long time ago. Basically, you play this woman named Eve. You're not named Eve. You're like a detective in New York, and some lady... I'm not going to get into it. Basically, you're fighting like mutated monsters who are being controlled by the Eve, the parasite Eve. And they're being mutated by their mitochondria. And so I was watching this trailer, and on the radio, some guy's like, Eve, a native is parasitizing that corpse or something. And I'm like, wait, parasites and Eve? Is this some sort of crazy reboot? Because you're fighting like mutated monsters and stuff. I'm like, there's no way. It's still unclear. It's called Project Eve, not Parasite Eve, but
It's really
that
close.
was my first thought. To me, it looks just like Nier Automata, as far as like gameplay and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Except maybe without the crazy bullet hell video gamey stuff that they do. I can kind of see the relation to like Bayonetta, but I really think I think it's just a costume. I think it's more like Nier, or maybe more like Devil May Cry.
Oh yeah, combat wise, yeah, that's also where it kind of fell apart as far as because Bayonetta is super like intentionally combo heavy. Like this, it's really flashy, and this game was like it was super clean.
Yeah, it was more like that new game that came out a few years ago on Switch. The very anime game where you're like chained to like a monster and you control
is it Astral Chain?
Astral Chain. It looked more like Astral Chain, but then I was like, oh, this is like Nier. It looks cool.
That look bad.
Yeah. I love anything with mutants and monsters and saving the world. Actually, you know what, Brad? The monsters reminded me a little bit of the Ghana or the Guana or whatever from Knights of Sidonia.
Oh no! Well, here's the thing. I actually think you might be onto something because I'm not super familiar with Parasite Eve. I've seen like what do you call it? Like a let's play of it. I can't remember how much I watched, but as you spoke, the more I thought about it, and I also feel like the title Project Eve might be one of those titles that's not the actual title.
You think so?
But like a misdirect or something that's like trying to tell you that it's, you know, like it might actually just be Parasite Eve in like the generate, you know what I'm saying? And then the name of the company, I can't remember the name of the developer studio, but I remember at the beginning it said like, because Shilene walked in when I was watching it again, and I was like, this is really strange. The company's name has Eve in it, like Eve Studios, like Project Eve Studios. And I was like, that sounds super illegitimate. Like, like
Balan Studios.
Yeah, like it's really weird when a company does that because that means they're only going to make one game and they're putting all their eggs.
They can make more games. I don't think that's weird.
I mean, it's just strange. You don't see it very often. Or it's a fake game, a fake like setup so that they can, you know, and maybe people who know Parasite Eve might have been like, oh, but I don't know. That's just more speculation. But also, yeah, like I definitely thought Bayonetta immediately when I saw it because he has her outfit. But I was like, Bayonetta meets Dark Souls, kind of like that vibe of Dark Souls, or maybe even like Bloodborne, like the targeting system, like all that going on. I don't know if you caught this in the trailer. I didn't catch it till the second time because I was like not watching it like when I was seeing it initially because I was working. But they like used some biblical quotes and like. It was like she was like praying, like not praying, but like reciting.
She was like praying to some sort of like earth goddess.
Yeah, and she was like lead us not into temptation or something like that.
Really?
And I was like, oh, okay. And
that's very Japanese, like misunderstanding the Bible. And,
yeah, it's like
this is Christian.
This is a thing, you know. And it's like post-apocalyptic, right? It's like everybody's in space. Like, what was that game we were talking about? We have fleed off
planet.
Off planet. You know, like, like yeah. So and then like there's some people still on the planet, so it kind of has that post-apocalyptic. And then they have QuickTime events, which I thought was interesting that they showed in the trailer. I was like, don't show me QuickTime events in the trailer.
Yeah,
like
that's how you cut out half of your player base.
No. I think that's valid because some people like that. And it's also good. It's good to know what you're getting into.
No, you gotta trick people, man, to buy your game, and then then they're like, "What? This whole game is this QuickTime event?"
So you don't respect them for being open about their QuickTime events?
No, I not that I respect them or disrespect them. I just thought it was interesting that they showed it, especially since like it's a 5-minute trailer, and it was like for 1 second, it was her like sliding under a door and like cutting a barrel, and I was like, "Why even show me this?" Just like I don't know. It
doesn't help their cause.
Exactly.
I liked the monster design. There was a few monsters that had like
game looks
chainsaw
great.
wheels for heads.
Yeah, that was super cool.
That was really cool.
Very unique. I don't know why it kind of reminded me. I don't know if you guys know the game Ashura's Wrath.
Yeah.
Ashura's Wrath or whatever. Not that the enemies were like that big, but I don't know why. It just kind of gave me that vibe of like really cool,
see that.
big enemies, and so yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's not a game that I think that I personally would like go out of my way to buy, but
No.
if it was like free on PlayStation Plus, maybe I'd check it out. That'll probably never
Yeah,
happen.
because you got a PS5 now.
Yeah, man. Y'all come to the fold, man. Come to the fold. There's so much here. The water is warm and delicious. It's the best combination.
Don't drink the water.
So let's keep moving.
Speaking of not drinking the water, Tiny
Oh.
Tina.
That's the I see.
Yeah, not drinking the water. Tiny Tina.
That's a bad segue. Please continue.
You tried. So Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I just want to say this straight out. Like, it's very like I have so much mistrust in Borderland because of Borderlands 3. So
Yeah.
instead of doing what I would normally do when I see a Borderlands trailer, which I'm like, oh, this is super cool. Looks like it's gonna be fun. I'm like looking to see if it's like Borderlands 3. Like, no joke. Like, and there's a moment in the trailer where they show a chest opening and all this loot coming out. And I had a flashback to Borderlands 3 and I said, no, they're going to do that stuff again where like no weapon is important, you know, or feels good.
And whenever they did that stuff, weapons would get stuck in geometry. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So just being real, like I was a little concerned, but I don't know. I'm hoping it looks like the Borderlands I want. It's that weird mix of like magic based attacks, like more of a, you know, Skyrim-y
Yeah.
with guns. So
The concept looks like really cool, and I could say the same thing about Borderlands 3. A lot of the ideas they had in there like seemed really cool, but one thing that's got me scared about this one is because one of the biggest things about Borderlands 3 was that they wouldn't stop talking. And if they're playing D&D, that's all talking.
If the whole thing is narrated by Tina, I'm gonna.
It will
know
be.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drown myself.
Drink the water.
I'll drink the water in the toilet. The most like of any character that you could pick to narrate, why Tina? She's the most. I mean, she's a good character. She's fun, but she's such an obnoxious voice actress.
Yeah.
I just can't listen to her more than a few minutes.
She has that Saturday morning cartoon like exaggerated like I can hear like she has a normal voice, but she does those things where her voice goes like she does this change, you know, like this growly thing.
Let's play this game.
Yeah, that thing. That you know, and I'm like,
she's supposed to sound unhinged.
Exactly, and it's like, and you know what's really strange to me? It's like I don't really know why Tiny Tina stood out so much. I thought she was interesting in Borderlands 2. Like, I thought it was like kind of, oh, cool, Tiny Tina. Like, she's a kind of goofy, crazy, you know, but I just never would have thought of her having a spin-off game, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe the community really loves her or something.
They really do.
I think they do. She's had like a few DLCs under her too, right?
Not certain.
She had at least one in Borderlands 2, where you like fight a dragon or something. So this kind of feels natural, I would say. Okay.
Yeah, I just, you know, not that I think she was a cool character. It's kind of interesting. I thought she would just be like a recurring character, like what's his name, Vladimir or whatever, the gun guy, like who kind of he's made his way through all the games, and he's had DLCs, but like he's just like a important character. I don't know. I feel like what's his name? Remember the car guy? Gotta get him, or what's his name?
The guy who Scooter.
Yeah. Like I feel like I expected a game for him, like maybe like a crazy racing game or something, or
that would be really cool.
You know, like he seemed to have a lot of personality, or even a Claptrap game, even though Claptrap can get out of control. But yeah,
I will say for a fantasy like D&D style game, I think Tina does make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
'cause she's like a kid. Yeah. And maybe, you know, maybe there was a little hope. Maybe they did like spread it out among the cast. Like maybe she's not the focal point the whole time.
Oh, I'm sure, but still, even if she's not, she'll be in it.
I don't know. I just have like now that you talk about their overly talkative characters, I just feel like, especially since Tiny Tina has that kind of like talk too much, I say too much, I'm very what was the word, zany. Like I just feel like
manic.
they're gonna manic overplay her so much. Like
Oh gosh, yeah, you're
she's
probably right.
You know,
that's definitely a small
unbearable.
doses kind of joke.
Yeah. But as far as the gameplay, I saw like there's the magic stuff. Did y'all notice the third person attack that happened?
I did.
Like,
yeah, that spin or whatever.
Spin, yeah.
Yeah.
And then some of the weapons that came out of that case, the exploding case, were hand-to-hand weapons.
One of them was a giant mace I saw.
Yeah, so I wonder how that's going to play out. That seems really interesting. So that would be cool if it was like a mix. But once again, implementation, that's a whole nother thing. So yeah, cool.
Right.
All right. Any other thoughts about Tiny Tina's Wonderland for everyone? I can't do
the music. The music they picked was super weird. It was like an anime OP.
Oh yeah, it was like Japanese, like
or maybe Korean or something.
Yeah, like it was. Yeah, that was interesting.
Also very manic
because they said it was like a metal plus magic plus guns, and I was like, I would assume a more. I guess that's maybe like a different type of metal, like that.
Yeah, I think tonally it fit. It was just, it's like, why Japan? Why?
Yeah. That gives me, not that it gives me fear, but it makes me just feel like they really like Tina a lot, so they're gonna overdo Tina.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It felt very Tina.
Because that's how Borderlands 3 felt. Like everybody liked Borderlands 2 a lot, so they just did way too much.
More Borderlands 2. We just doubled the Borderlands 2.
Borderlands
4.
Borderlands squared. Not even 4. Squared. I like the squared. Borderlands
I guess
squared.
it would be 4 either way.
Yeah, like it just seems more powerful. So let's move on to Forspoken. Okay, what do y'all think about this game? What's y'all's vibe?
Is that Wheatley? Is that Wheatley's voice actor in the cuffs?
I don't know. I
maybe
the voice sounded familiar.
His voice sounds very familiar.
Yeah,
so
but I don't,
probably something.
Maybe.
Like he's got a very generic sound kicky sounding voice. So wouldn't be surprised.
I think the writing seemed okay. I think it'd be better without them cutting it for a trailer. It seemed like they were kind of just trying to cut in the fun parts of the dialogue. I mean,
to me, it felt a lot like they finally made one of the weird tech demos into a full game.
Right. It looked...
I could feel that.
It really, when she was like, I'm going to fly, and it showed her flying, I was like, this looks just like one of those tech demos they're talking about the PlayStation's insane hard drive.
Yeah. Because even the environment looked like it's always in the desert, so they can show 1,000 sand particles. It was all the same stuff.
More sand. Every particle of sand has its own physics system and reflection system.
And they're all fully voiced.
Particle emission
by Tiny Tina.
Fully voiced.
Oh, gosh.
You know, speaking of the writing, I'll be very honest. There's something weird about the writing, the voice actor, and the main character. It just didn't seem to match for me for some reason. Like,
it was weird.
It felt like the motif that the character was displaying didn't match that, like, whoa, this stuff is super cool. Like, it just felt weird.
Like her face was flat, but her voice was excited.
Exactly. It just felt like...
Yeah.
I think that's what I meant. I feel like they cut some stuff together, and maybe we were seeing dialogue that didn't go with the scene and vice versa.
Yeah, that probably was it. But even like her character design, though, was like... she was wearing all these muted colors. Like Brad said, her face like always looked mad. So it was just
all the colors are muted.
Yeah,
but I mean, like if they're talking like that, there's usually something on their character design, like some visual element that kind of enhances that.
Like imagine Tiny Tina wearing the same outfit that girl was wearing. Like that's what it feels like to me. Like Tiny Tina is extra and boisterous and loud. Like she's gonna be colorful, pink hair, this and that. But like this girl was very loud, very like almost like bad attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like like this bleep is so cool. Like, wow, am I flying? Like just, but then it's just like this girl, like this normal kind of chill, seeming like she would just watch Netflix. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm willing to wait for like a more like some like gameplay or something that shows minute to minute what she's like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
because maybe
I get what you're saying for sure.
Maybe over time, as you play the game, you start to get a feel for the character, and so it doesn't necessarily matter what she's wearing. Mm-hmm. But I think for a trailer, like it's really important because those are things you can't really glean from a trailer unless it's done very specifically. And it seems like they tried to shoehorn in you accepting that she's like this really rad character, but they didn't reinforce it anyway.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Like, it's like they're trying to, it's almost like she was a Sonic type character. Like, she has Tood, right? And she's like, she's cool, but like, they also wanted to present this really cool, like, mystical, magical, mysterious world where she doesn't know what's going on, but also some of the cool, like, mechanics that were going to be in it. And it just didn't, I don't know. But in some games, they change voice actors. Like, she might not even be the voice actor, for all we know.
That's true.
Dude. Don't put that juju on her.
Dang, fire her over the trailer that they cut together.
Yeah, I mean, it's common. Like, you just have somebody to stand in, and then later you get your real, it's just maybe wasn't ready. But anyway.
I don't know, man. I feel like at this point, they should have the voice acting pretty much set.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty late.
I mean,
Unless without good reason.
I mean,
they do it because of, I think they'd have a good reason, but I wouldn't put it past them to wait till the last second. And the game might even suffer more from them making a knee-jerk reaction.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, not to say that, like, from the backlash, just more like, there's 100% been trailers where, like, the voice actors were not the people. Because it was just quicker and cheaper to get somebody now, instead of trying to get the actual cast and crew to, like, spin up particular new stuff for the cinematic trailer. But one thing I did want to say about the game is that it was very cinematic. It reminded me a lot of like Horizon Zero Dawn's reveal, like where it kind of was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, this is different. The writing and stuff killed me a little bit, but overall, if I just like removed all that, like I thought it was like a cool looking, like the movement, like I said this in the last podcast, but I've always loved the movement in Prototype. And for some reason, the stuff that she was doing where she was like kind of doing the Spiderman stuff and then like double jumping and like crouch flying, like it felt like the movement was going to be really fun. So it might be cool. I don't know.
Yeah, and I know we're going to talk about this game later, but the movement actually reminded me of DokeV. Like, I think a lot of games are really starting to, or developers are starting to really be able to, implement these really unique, I guess. Well, I mean, they're becoming less unique because there are more games, but like it was hard to implement like really interesting movement styles. But it seems like every game's having them now.
Yeah, like really focusing on movement in really cool ways. So cool. Forspoken. I don't know why that name sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible.
It is because it's bad.
It's like they're trying to be unique. Like it's not the Forsaken. It's not the Unspoken. Like I don't know. It's a weird name. But maybe it'll be cool when it comes out. So, all right. So let's keep moving. Rainbow Six Extraction. Let's keep moving. Alan Wake remake. No, we can stop. Rainbow Six Extraction.
It wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Clancy had nothing to do with this. It's not his game.
He's like, don't put my name on this. It doesn't
feel like aren't Rainbow Six games like ultra realistic usually?
Yeah.
This was some like sci-fi XCOM looking weird stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things where Rainbow Six was like, hey, we need to change things. Like, we're not doing that well compared to the Call of Duties and the blah, 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 blahs. So let's do something different. But you know what, dude? Those aliens literally look like the most generic, like, Unity asset store, like, flip aliens. Like, I saw XCOM in there. I saw Halo. I saw, like, every game, like, I was just like, yo, this looks so weak. Like,
they were reaching. Yeah. Like, it was sad.
Yeah.
But it was one of those trailers, like, if you're already playing these games, you'll play this one. But they're not going to get anybody new with this.
True.
Probably.
Very true. Yeah. I tried. Like, I watched it again. I said, let me just give it another chance. Initially I didn't care about this game. But same feeling. I was like, if anything, it made me feel less, like, interested because of the generic looking XCOM alien, and then it just looked like they were like, okay, in every game that has aliens or zombies, they have different types: the spitter, the hard guy, the normies. You know, we got to put it all in there. The one that clings to the wall and is juicy looking. You know, like it just felt.
You say
delicious. Yes.
I mean, as far as trailers are concerned, it felt like it would stitch together well. Like it was a very entertaining trailer. Like it was super fast, action packed. You know, I knew what the game was about. It just wasn't interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So hey, Rainbow Six Extraction. It's a game. January 2022. So Alan Wake Remastered. Yeah. Have you guys ever played Alan Wake? Know anything of it? Cause
I have. I've beat Alan Wake. It's a really great game. I'm not sure why it needs a remaster. Well, you know what? That's not fair. This is on PlayStation.
Well, I think from what I recall, I might be a little bit wrong about these facts, but I believe Alan Wake pretty much is one of those games that got lost in time, in the sense that there's almost no way to play it now because of how it was distributed, or some kind of like weird series of events. Like it kind of got delisted or something like that. And
I mean, it's on Steam.
Yeah, like in the past, like it was like hard to get access to it, right? Microsoft brought it back out, but people have been saying for a long time, Alan Wake needs to be remastered. Like this has been something for a decade solid. Like Alan Wake.
Alan Wake. I didn't know that was a thing. I always heard Alan Wake needs a proper sequel, which I noticed this is not. Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like I think there's something about Alan Wake that's like, it was kind of known like, hey, it's in a weird place in gaming history. Like I recall certain events happening during a period of time. Like I said, I don't think I have all my facts straight, but this is a significant moment. And also, Alan Wake wasn't on the PlayStation; it was exclusive to
Xbox,
to Microsoft. So for it making a move to PlayStation is also huge.
Because that is big. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so like people wanted to play Alan Wake, but it never had a, like you can play a lot of, like I've been playing Dead Rising on the PS4, and that was an Xbox game, but like Alan Wake never got its, transition over.
So maybe that also played into the motive to remaster it for the platform.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, there's no reason to release, what was it, a 360 game probably.
360.
Yeah, definitely remaster it. But like, my initial comment was basically saying like, I just played this on my computer last year, and it played really well at 1440p, and it looked pretty great. I assume that if they're going to remaster it, they're going to like have all new textures, maybe new like character models and stuff to actually make it look modern. Because if they don't do that, there's no point. Oh, the lighting. They could probably do some really cool stuff with the lighting, actually.
Ooh. Yeah,
because all of it's at night. You have a flashlight as your main weapon, and there's a lot of interesting effects on the Taken or whatever they were called, the darkness possessed people that you fight against, where like there's like shimmering around them. It's kind of like the shimmer from, or was it called the shimmer in Control?
I don't remember.
Well, yeah.
In Control, they used a lot of really insane particle effects and lighting effects to show how the bad guys are possessed. And Alan Wake was kind of the precursor to that. So if they can like upgrade it to what Control had, that'd be pretty cool, especially with all the mood lighting.
Yeah.
I played Alan Wake a little bit. I think I got a demo or something on 360, but I was younger, so it was, and I don't play scary games already, but it was creepy, so
yeah,
I put it down.
But it's so great. It's like a pulpy horror story, but somehow still manages to feel really creepy, but also like kind of touching.
So
because it's based on a book, right?
No,
he's a journalist.
He's a writer.
The character Alan Wake is a writer.
That's what it is.
He's not writing a book. Well, he's not supposed to be. I won't get into it, but there is.
Yeah, I didn't mean to spoil it. I think it's not a
spoiler. It's
just the premise. He went there with his wife or something.
Yeah, they went on vacation to this this remote town up in the West Coast.
So I do remember, I just did a brief look to check to make sure, but essentially when Alan Wake first came out, it was like a digital only game. And even if you owned like the disc or something, you didn't actually own the game. Like,
gosh.
You had to get it off of the Xbox 360, like,
of course.
Yeah, like, whatever. So basically when they stopped doing the 360 whatever, it just basically disappeared. Like, you couldn't get access to your own game,
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I had no idea.
So that was like a big deal. And they re-released it later, but this is a decade later, like, that it came out. So you couldn't even play it if you owned it, or something. It was very, very strange, like, and, so this is a big deal in the sense number one is coming over, but yeah, it had a lot of drama. It was like one of those weird, it was like, that's when Microsoft was trying to do weird stuff, like, for no reason. Yeah. So,
the moment to moment kind of makes me think of Luigi's Mansion. Because you have the flashlight, and you have to use the flashlight before they're vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, not real. The gameplay is not at all like that, but I guess
Luigi has a pistol.
The conception of it is similar, I guess.
Luigi has a pistol. If Luigi had a pistol, Mario would no longer be the main staple of the Mushroom Kingdom.
Luigi be popping off in that mansion, son.
Yeah.
Like, Peach is my girl.
It was really it's really satisfying gameplay. It's really great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. Last year I built a PC and I played this game from the middle where I left off years ago, and I still had a great time.
That's rare.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play Alan Wake. I've heard it's so good. It's interesting because, like, I feel like games now, you have to say name of the game remastered, because if you just say the name of the game, people just assume it's a new game. Like, there's no, so it's like, no, this is a remastered game, guys. Speaking of remastered games,
oh gosh,
GTA 5
Can you call it a remaster?
It is. It's gonna look better for the PlayStation 5, but it just seems
it doesn't even look like noticeally different.
It doesn't.
And also, the trailer seemed like it was just a trailer from like 6 years ago. Like, it was like,
I wonder why.
Like, it really honestly felt like they were just like, you can split and play different people in the game. Like, bro, like, everybody should know this by now.
They know. They don't have to try.
Well, they're not saying that's a new feature, but they're saying now it's fast because of the PlayStation. But it's like, that's not a feature of the game either. That's just because you're playing it on a PlayStation 5. Like, that's probably going to happen regardless, right?
Yeah, like, all the games that I play on PlayStation 5 literally have almost no load times. It's very, very off-putting. I never thought that I'd feel strange. It's like, I go to a room and I'm in the next one. I'm like, no, there should be a 30-second loading screen. Like, give me a second.
I want to wait.
Yeah, like, give me a second to take a drink or bite into my snack. It's just too fast. So,
you know what? You say that, but it might get to the point where game developers will start adding load times that don't need to be there, just because. I mean, people kind of rely on those moments in between.
Yeah,
you're making a good point.
Yeah, or like some games where you have to press a button to get past the load screen. Like, it'll load for you, but until you press X or something. Like,
that should not happen on modern games. That makes a lot of sense for the long load times, because you want to get up and like go get something or get a drink while it's loading, and then you don't want it to continue without you. But if the load time is going to be a split second, I don't want to have to push a button. It defeats the purpose of a short load time.
Yeah, it just depends. Like, I feel like there's some games where the loading screens have been very informative, like telling me about features in the game that they never put anywhere else. Like, they never explain.
Like in Smash Bros. In the new Ultimate game, when you're loading like a match or something, it'll show tips for how to play for different characters and stuff. And that actually frustrates me because I want it to wait for me to push A so I can read the tip, because usually it loads the game like right. I'm almost finished reading and it finishes loading and it just goes away. And I'm like, what?
Yep. And some of them are pretty good tips.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good tips. There's so many tips in that game.
Yeah, I feel like as much as I hate loading screens, I feel like I've adapted to them. And now it's just really strange. Like, it's really strange. Like I said, I was playing Dead Rising, and Dead Rising used to have like solid 10-second loading screens. Now they're pretty much in like 1 second. And I feel like most of that loading is just transitioning from the loading screen. Like, it's just, they can't go any faster.
Different scenes.
So anyway, GTA 5. Yeah, I don't really know. Like I personally don't play GTA 5. I have no plan to. I know people love it, so it's gonna sell gangbusters. It's just it's on the PlayStation 5. Hey. So
doesn't make it any less disrespectful though.
Yeah, and the trailer was too long. Just say remastered PlayStation 5, March 2022. 10 seconds.
Don't even give us a trailer. No one cares.
Just really? Give us an announcement. Do what they did for Knights of the Old Republic, where it's just like remastered, done.
No, don't even don't include it. Like, just tweet about it.
No,
it doesn't deserve any airtime.
I mean, it doesn't, but money, son. Money.
It's made so much money, yeah.
Money, son. I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
Sony's
they could have saved money and not disrespected
No.
us.
Sony's trying to make money because every sale they're getting something from it. Like, they know what they're doing. But anyway, Ghostwire Tokyo.
I've been looking forward to this game. It looks really cool.
Interesting. So, did you know about it prior to this review?
Yeah. It's been revealed. I want to say a year and a half.
Really, I've never heard of this ever.
Yeah, me either.
What?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will be vindicated later. Yeah, it looks cool. I love the the Japanese ghost stories, the lore and the demons and all the yokai and all that stuff. So to me, this is great. There's not a lot of, I don't consume a lot of Japanese horror, so I'm stoked.
It does look pretty cool. One thing I'm noticing is kind of another trend in games, especially first-person games, are like these they're not giving characters guns. They're making them do like hand signs and stuff, like the magic and different. Like, that's really kind of taken off. And those animations, like, those are hard to pull off. So I commend every studio who's attempting this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a weird thing because I don't know how I feel about I just call them first-person action games, right? Like, first-person shooters. It's just a first-person action game.
First-person Exorcist.
Yeah, like, first, what's funny? It wasn't until I talked to Rob, one of my good friends who I mentioned in the last podcast, that it was even a horror game, like a horror type, like yokai, whatever type of game. Like, for some reason, it didn't even resonate to me when I was watching it, that it was like, oh, everybody here is like a ghost or some weird apparition. But I don't know.
It looks scary.
Yeah, like the first person action hand games are weird to me because to me, like, I feel like in third person there's that ability to disconnect from the movement of your character, right? Because like punching or swinging or kicking, like your body movement, the cameras should track that, right? And
sure.
So to me, there's like this weird disconnect when your arms are just floating around you and doing all these cool animations, but you're not really moving. And if you are moving, then like the screen is just like constant camera shake,
Yeah.
And I don't know what game I played. What was it? The horror game, first person horror game where you hit people with a pipe. I can't remember, but that was like, but you only had so many moments of action. So it felt like that was just a part of it. But like this game seems very action oriented. And I'm like, man, I feel like I don't even get motion sickness, but I'm like, I wonder how I'm going to feel playing this. Or I'm going to feel really disconnected from my character and that I just am this weird puppet arm dude.
It seems like they're kind of taking the BioShock or Oblivion or approach where, like you're saying, your hands are extending. I think even like some characters in Overwatch do this, where your hands are extending. It's very beautifully animated, but like you're saying, your head and your shoulders and stuff as the character don't react. And so it's like, what are these limbs attached to? And then we have games that do show it, like you mentioned, and the one that comes to my mind that does it really well is Mirror's Edge.
Yes. That's like the OG, like first person action game.
Yeah. And there's even combat in that game, but it's like, when she throws a punch, like for a second, you lose track of the guy in front of you because, her whole shoulder's into it, her head's turned,
Yes.
But super immersive that way.
Yeah. To me, it's like a catch-22. I mean, I feel like that's the type of thing where like VR is the difference maker, because like if you're boxing, right, and you're throwing a punch, you want to keep your eye on the target. You might be moving your body, but your eyes track still on the target, even though your head is moving, so it minimizes the screen shake per se in real life. So yeah, I don't know if there's a way to really mitigate it without one of the two. Like either it's overly screen shaky.
Yeah, there's a compromise no matter what.
Yeah, but it might be fun. I don't know if it's my type of game. I don't know. Me and first person action games. Like I've never played Mirror's Edge for that reason. Like for some reason I don't like that feel. So, but
Mirror's Edge just kind of feels like a puzzle game, honestly.
Yeah,
like it's a very action oriented game, but you solve it like a puzzle.
Yeah, and I mean it was completely brand new idea when it first came out. It was like the OG. So cool. Marvel's Guardian of the Galaxy. Any thoughts?
Looks fun. I'm glad it's not a Marvel's Avengers expansion pack
or turn-based.
Bro. So when I first saw the trailer of this one, I thought it was a remake of the Telltale Guardians of the Galaxy game, which was not fun.
Oh, you played it?
I played the demo. You can get it for free on PS4, and it was fine, but it just wasn't fun though.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I played a little bit of Marvel's Avengers. I think you saw me. You joined my stream one time. Steve,
I did.
We did. Playing it. And the combat, like when it's like your 1-to-1 combat that I saw in the trailer, was eerily similar to me. I don't know how it's gonna feel, but it was eerily similar.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No,
probably
the combat in Avengers is horrendous.
Yeah, it seemed like it had that third person, like over the shoulder kind of thing, shooting kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Like, remember back in the day when there were so many games that were just like cash grabs, right? Like you have basically a movie comes out and there's going to be a terrible movie game that comes with it. Like now I feel like this generation is too expensive to do that, to make a game like that, unless it's on the Switch.
No,
gosh.
You know, but like Marvel is, I mean, between Gamescom and this showcase, there had to be at least like 5 Marvel games releasing.
There's tons of
maybe
them.
6. So, you know what's really weird? The Marvel Cinematic Universe makes me have this weird connection, like disconnect with the games now, because now
they have like different models and voice actors.
Yeah, like the voice actors, and then like they'll try to kind of like, because before we didn't have a canon face for these comic book characters. But now the MCU has kind of like created this canonized characters. So I'm just like, they need to be Chris Hemsworth or it needs to be Robert Downey Jr. And yeah, like, I don't know. It felt weird. And the fact that his hair was blonde, which is correct compared to the comic book, compared to like, what's his name's hair, which is more of like a
Star-Lord.
Chris Pratt's hair color was weird to me. And then Gamora being more of like, probably closer to the comic book, but not looking like Zoe. What's her name? Zeldana, and Drax not looking like Big Swole Batista. Like, I don't know. The only person that felt right to me was Rocket Raccoon.
He had a goatee.
Who?
He did.
He had not a goatee. He had like a pharaoh beard. It was super weird.
He was different.
Oh, yeah. But I think, once again, I have one of the Guardian Galaxy's comic books, and I think they look 1-to-1 like what it should look like to the comic book.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
But it's just weird.
That's good.
It's super weird. And then Rocket Raccoon kind of sounds like, what's his name? So, it's like,
the actor from the
I
movie?
don't think that's Brad.
No, it's definitely not Bradley Cooper, but it sounds like him. Like, it's somebody giving that same delivery. So it's like, now I'm super confused.
Yeah, the other characters, like in a lot of the Marvel games, they noticeably don't try as hard to find a sound alike.
Mm-hmm. But it really felt... So I don't know. Nothing against the game, but it just feels weird. You know, it just feels like a...
Except for Samuel Jackson. They tried to get as close as they can whenever they put Nick Fury in the game now.
It's paid for his likeness. Hey, man, you gotta have Samuel. Okay, let's keep moving. Vampire Bloodhunt. Okay, so we talked about this in the GameCon episode.
This is the same game, right?
Yes, 100% the same game. But as
It's a much better trailer.
A better trailer, more clear like what the game is like. My only feeling about this trailer is that I feel like they should have went more of the Apex route, where it's like a stylized gameplay instead of like the actual gameplay. Because what if
like a cinematic expression of the game.
Exactly, and the camera view should just be like unrealistic compared to the game, but it's still the gameplay. Because what it made it feel like was that they were playing against bots. Like
it did.
You know?
You're right.
Because I was like, the other play, like, originally when I saw the trailer, I was like, there must be NPCs in the world that you can like level up with, and then you fight characters. Then watching again, I was like, oh no, those are other player characters.
They just trash.
They're just trash. You know, they're bots, you know?
They're boo-boo.
So I don't know, like, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm down to play anything, I guess, but I don't know. I feel better about it from this trailer than I did Gamescom, but yeah. What do you guys think about it?
I don't remember the trailer from Gamescom, so at first I was trying to figure out what the game was actually doing. And so at first I was like, is this a Blade game? Where's Wesley Snipes? But then they started shooting, and so...
Yeah. It took me like a long time to realize that the like character intros that they were doing were actually, they were like classes. I'm like, is this guy's name Bruja? Like, what am I looking at here?
Nosferatu?
Is that Nosferatu? Because Nosferatu is a name. It's a character.
Name. Yeah.
It's not like a class of monsters.
Oh, they do that in another Dracula, or not Dracula, but vampire game that I saw. I didn't know that. They do use it as a class.
I mean, maybe it is. Maybe I misunderstand it, but
maybe they just mean like old men from like the classic vampire era. Mythology.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys feel like you'd ever play it?
Probably. I mean, unless you guys wanted to, probably not.
If it's free to play, and if you guys are playing it, essentially,
there it is.
Like,
that's the criteria.
Yeah, like there's that other game, Nakama something or something. It's like the Chinese battle royale game, but you have to pay $20. I think I shared it with you guys in our chat, and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. I don't know if I like it, but maybe it's fun. And then I realized, $30. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna pay $30 for a game.
You almost had me for 20, but 30 is too much.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna spend 30. Like, I'd rather buy DRG again and not play it than
snap.
Shots fired at Steve.
At least you know what you get.
Speaking of not playing games that we've bought, I was playing Astroneer last night, Kyle.
Hey, he didn't tell. Oh, well, I couldn't have played anyway. But
yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a last minute thing. It was fun. I had a good time. They've updated the UI and done some stuff.
I feel like that's me in like No Man's Sky. Like, I'll boot it up and I'll be like, man, this game. Nah, I'm good.
You still have that game?
I'm pretty sure I still have it.
Do yourself
unless I lost it in the move. I still have it. I mean, I haven't played it.
So. Uninstalled.
All right, so let's move on to the next game, Deathloop, which is like, seems to be the. I don't know if there's a winner of this showcase.
I would say, I mean, it's definitely not the winner. I think Spiderman 2 would be the winner.
We'll see. Let's talk about it. Deathloop.
All right. So Deathloop, I'm sick of trailers. I just want to buy the game. At this point, they're just spoiling the story.
Yeah, they're running out of stuff to show.
Yeah,
they showed a lot.
I've never heard of Deathloop until today.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Why really?
Like,
there's been like 4. It's been in every Sony conference for the past year. I feel like.
I think that
past 6 years.
I'm aware of its existence. Like, the name is familiar to me, but also I'm the type of person that doesn't seek out stuff, right? Like, it just comes to me. So, like, and since I'm a game guy, like, for example, like, Genshin Impact, for example. Like, I almost know nothing about it, like, in general, but I know about it because everybody talks about it. But I've just never, like, let me look up what Genshin Impact is. But if y'all send me a video of Genshin Impact, I'll watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you watch a stream with a bunch of games and they keep talking about death, I mean, did you just not notice it? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, up until basically I moved here to North Carolina, I just really haven't had time to like do anything, you know.
Oh.
So
So you haven't been watching the stuff.
yeah, so like this is like the first time in like a good
That's
while that I've had like time to actually live life the way that I used to.
Got it. That's fair. That's totally fair. But yeah, so to fill you in, this game has been known for a while, and it looks really exciting. I love Arcane, obviously, yeah. I just when I get around to playing it, I'm gonna buy it. It's definitely something I want to play. I just feel like I have so many games right now to play. Yeah.
What about you, Kyle?
I think it looks pretty good. This was the one that kind of tipped me over, I guess. Cause I was kind of teetering whether or not I was interested in it, because it was looking kind of samey as far as like shooters and like they were portraying it as cooler than it actually was. And then watching this one, it actually I was like, oh, it actually is pretty cool.
It clicked. Yeah.
Like it had like in the trailer and stuff, like they had like these, like they were shooting the environment to make traps, and I was like, that is an interesting mechanic. And so,
yeah, I mean,
what are your thoughts, Brad?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's all new information. I mean, the first thing when I saw it, and I just was like trying to understand what was happening, because apparently, like, it makes more sense now that people know about it. Because from a first-time viewer, if you've never seen this game, it seems like they aren't like they're not telling you something.
Oh, there's missing info.
Yeah, like, and so it was just moving really fast. So to me, I was just like, what is happening? Like, what is this game? and I shared it with the guys earlier today, like the list of games, and Steve corrected me. This is not a roguelike, right? And like, but because I had made a note, FPS roguelike ? Because
I can see that.
If you just watch it and you have no context, it just is like, oh, there's a time loop and you're coming back into the game and they're talking about it like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I thought it was an FPS roguelike. I was like,
that would be cool.
That's the first. And it seems like they have like a Bioshock-esque feel to it, story, mechanic.
It's more like Dishonored than Bioshock.
I mean, because it's Arcane, they made Dishonored, but Dishonored is basically the evolution of Bioshock, right? And then, you know, each one, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, like, I don't know what's happening. Okay, they got puzzles in this. It has really cool voiceover. Seems like it's gonna be good. That's exactly what I wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't know, like, you know, and this angry black man and this random woman he's angry at, and then people seem to keep killing him for some reason. He ain't do nothing. You know, like, I'm
into it.
You know, I was like, hey, like, I don't know what's going on, but like, I resonate with this. This connects with me.
So this will excite you. All right. So I saw a review for the game that gives information that's not in trailers, which I find interesting. And one of the interesting bits for me was that the idea of the game is that you're trying to kill, I think it's like 8 bosses.
Mm-hmm.
And the island is divided up into sections. And the time loop is a day, and the loop is divided into periods of day, like, you know, morning, afternoon, evening kind of thing.
Okay.
And you can only be in one section per like period of time. And there's like 4 or 5 sections, there's 8 bosses. And so you have to figure out how you kill all 8 of them in one day. Because if you don't do it in one day, then everything resets, whether you die or not.
So I'm curious about like how much of that is actually reliant on what the player does. Like you have to set traps in the other areas and run back, or if
you can't go between areas. You have to kill them when they're in the area. So you pieced. It's like Hitman. You guys have played Hitman?
Oh yeah, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the whole point is that you're piecing together the days that the schedule for routine. Each target, and you have to be at the right time or the right spot at the right time to make the kill. Cool. And you can, and just like a Hitman, you can manipulate the environment because everyone is doing the exact same thing every single time because it's a time loop. So you can make specific cause and event things happen that change the schedule. I don't know if this is a possibility, but for example, maybe you set a fire in the different places and they all congregate in one area, and then you can kill them all at once. Like, for an example. So that's the gameplay. That's
interesting.
The loop.
Let me ask a question. When you die, do you keep your stats? When the Deathloop restarts?
When you die, you lose everything except what you started with, but there's a mechanic where you can basically imbue, I don't know exactly how it works, but you imbue items you pick up or weapons or something with some sort of power, and then they stay with you.
So this is a roguelike.
So this is sounding like a roguelike fused with Hitman.
A roguelike is, by definition, it's random. It's randomized every time.
No. I think a rogue, like the original game, is just this idea that you restart from the beginning with your base, nothing. Like whatever you had, whatever your base thing, and you have to redo everything, right? Like the randomization is just, that's why it's roguelike instead of like, it's like Metroidvania, like it's like pieces of that original formula. So
okay, sure.
So
in that way, maybe it's a roguelike, but I think most people would assume randomly procedural kind of thing. Like every day is exactly the same. So it's I wouldn't say it's more roguelike than somebody who save scums in Hitman. Like if you're constantly going back to the beginning of your save,
but save
scumming
is not the mechanic of the game. That's just how you play the game.
Right.
Like
so they've built save scumming into the game is what I'm saying.
Then essentially, maybe we should have a whole conversation about what roguelikes are. But it's essentially has the roguelike mechanics. It's like first person. It seems like, similar to Hades, which hopefully we'll have like a discussion about. It seems like you'll get, as you start your time loop, you'll get more information about the story and what's happening. And, even though it's like the same series of things that you're going to go through in general. So that's cool. That seems really cool.
Would you say that the Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds, whichever one isn't the big AAA game, is that a roguelike where you're exploring the solar system? You have 15 minutes before it ends.
If you start over and you have anything that you pulled from the last playthrough in the next run, I would say yes. Because the distinction between like restarting a level and what a roguelike does is you bring something back with you.
I think Brad was just saying the fact that you don't bring something back with you is what makes it roguelike.
No, not is to me the whole idea of like roguelike is there's just a lot of expressions. It's like first person shooters. There's a lot of expressions of how you can do it. But it's like you have that loop. Like in a way, Majora's Mask is a roguelike. Like
if you're willing to say that, then I certainly won't argue with you.
No,
I'm saying that's ridiculous.
I'm saying in a way, but I'm saying not that Majora's Mask is a roguelike. I'm just saying it has. But I'm saying that this game has more roguelike characteristics than like, any. And I'm not familiar with what Outer Wilds is, so I can't answer that question. But yeah, maybe a discussion for another time. I like it. Well, let's keep moving. Kid Amnesia or Kid Amnesia Exhibition, whatever that was. I have no words or anything to talk about that.
It was a teaser. It's not there's nothing really to discuss. Radiohead, that's a name.
And Epic Games. I don't even know I don't think it's a game. It seems like an art.
I don't even remember that part.
Yeah, it's just some random video of like seeing.
It was like 40 seconds or something.
Scary house. It was whatever. I don't know what the point is. And it comes out in November, so who knows. Tchia? T'Challa?
Shia, maybe? I don't know.
Tchia?
I think
the T is silent.
Tchia?
Yeah, let's go with Tchia.
Okay. So, Tchia. Seems like a cool game to me. It doesn't seem like my type of game. Seems like kids will love it. I don't know what y'all think about it.
Yeah, I
play this game.
I forgot what the mechanic is. I watched it twice, and the second time I was absolutely not trying to pay attention.
There was kind of a lot. Like at the very beginning of the trailer, they showed I guess it's a mini game because they never showed it again, but she was sitting on the dock playing guitar and you have like the reticle.
Mm-hmm.
So you can choose the notes you play.
And so I was like, oh, it's a 3D Wonder Song type game. But then, as it went on, she never played it again. But then she was like, doing some platforming and then she was like, capturing creatures. And so there was a lot going on. And then she had a glider.
So
So I really don't. I couldn't
Was
tell
she
you.
capturing,
But it looked,
or was she transforming into to creatures? Because
that is unclear.
Because it
looked
like she turned
one
into
way
a bird
or
something.
It looked like she possessed the bird, like captured it, but then what happened to it afterwards? We didn't see it fly away.
She killed it.
She burst it.
But I just remembered she turned into a turtle, and you have to swim a little ways, and then she turned into a crab, and you have to like
Crab
open a
animals.
lock with your crab claw.
Okay, so it's
That's cute.
So it's like a, I don't know. I can't remember.
Like a more linear Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
That's kind of what it seemed like,
Yeah.
like kind of a mixture between Hat in Time as far as visuals, but then the capture mechanic did remind me of Odyssey.
or Driver San Francisco. I don't know if you guys know that game, where like you can jump between characters, like your spirit can imbue.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember that one.
did I send you the video? Some guy was talking about what a second person experience would look like in a game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's for us. I think it's for the
Sure.
for the kiddos, for the young.
I think it was good to have in the state of play, but
Yeah.
not for me.
I'd play it.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely for
it's
Kyle,
no
yeah.
bug snacks, but it's trying. That's for another day. So, Uncharted Remastered. Literally, I'm confused because I thought they already did this, but
I
did.
did too.
But I guess it's
But I think it's like a naming convention. They called it the Nathan Drake Collection or something on PS4,
Mhm.
but it is remastered.
But doesn't it have that one Uncharted game that doesn't have Nathan Drake?
The Lost Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the four. Is it
Right,
four?
right, right.
No,
The fourth
it's
one?
four.
I think what Kyle's saying is that on the PlayStation 4, it was the Nathan Drake collection, but this is a different package.
A different
Because
iteration.
that was
That's what it
just
seems like to me.
that was just here's our games in one bundle. This is like, oh, we're remastering them for the PS5.
Yeah, but I thought I remember, I mean, I got the bundle a long time ago. Like, when I bought my PS4, I got all 3 games. So that was like 2015. But I thought they did a remaster since then. But maybe I'm just I feel like every game is going through that remaster phase. So it's
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to, or maybe that was, what's the game? The one where it's post-apocalyptic
The
zombie.
Last of Us.
Yeah, The Last of Us. That's maybe what I'm thinking of. I think that got a remaster recently.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's the thing. If you haven't played it, it'll look more beautiful. I mean, we talked a little bit about Uncharted, I think, in one of our earlier episodes, and how some of it, like, the game is great, but some of the gameplay mechanics didn't age
Jank.
that well. Like the shooting seemed very
The shooting's really bad in 1, especially.
What, Nathan Drake?
just in Uncharted 1.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
In Nathan Drake.
In
his mind.
in
his entity.
Sorry. That was my bad.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's like GTA 5 getting a remaster. It's like, sure, like that's great. Like,
Mhm.
I'd rather you just make a new game, but cool. Like,
Yes.
awesome. Cool. Now, so this, I didn't necessarily catch this the first time. I think I did, but the next set of games, the last 4 games we're going to talk about, are PlayStation first party games. They're the PlayStation Studio games, which is just like encompasses different studios that
Right.
are first party,
Fancy.
like Insomniac. Who else? It's quite a few.
Insomniac again.
Insomniac.
Santa Monica.
Yeah, like, so there's a few different studios, but so the first one was, what's so interesting? The Marvel Wolverine. I don't know why I thought it was Wolverine before I got the reveal that it was Wolverine. Like,
Really?
yeah, like when he was sitting at the bar, just sitting there, I was like, is that Wolverine? Like, just
That's just such a classic Wolverine scene.
maybe, yeah.
True.
Getting in a bar fight.
And then him sitting there super chill, like,
Yeah.
maybe that's it.
I didn't look again. Did he have like his hair, or was there anything that would kind of just, aside from them reusing that shot, is there anything else that would kind of clue you in?
Flannel shirt.
Yeah, the lumberjack look.
The lumberjack look.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a fight. Yeah, like maybe that's what it was. it just was like, just naturally, I was like, is that Wolverine? And then I was looking at his hands. I was like, but I don't see any like slit holes, on his.
Well, you wouldn't.
And in some pieces of media, they've made it more clear. Like, okay, this is where it's going to come out. But I was like, oh, maybe it's not Wolverine. And then Wolverine.
Didn't happen.
So.
Shing.
I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? This is going to be Insomniac. So you guys think it's going to be a banger?
That studio gives me high hopes,
right.
But there was a lot of wiggle room with Spider-Man. They took liberties, and the character itself had so much that they could do. And so I feel like they might go a similar route and then, use the Arkham style as far as combat. Because I think it would work for Wolverine. But him as a character, he doesn't have tech, He's not super agile. Like, he doesn't have a really cool way of movement. Like Batman even, when it comes to that stuff. So,
doesn't he? Doesn't he like throw himself around a lot?
He runs pretty fast and jumps really high.
Yeah, he's fast. But I don't know. Maybe they'll make him climb up walls with his claws. I don't know. But I'm just, like, I guess like he doesn't have, the grapple and the webs.
Yeah, you're not going to be web slinging.
Yeah, and so like the keynotes that made the movement so cool in Batman and Spider-Man, he's not gonna have access to. But right. I trust them.
Yeah. I guess it's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of assumptions that you're gonna make, right? If it's Insomniac, you're gonna assume that it's a third-person action game, right? Like default. It's not going to be an RPG. It's not going to be turn-based. Like, you can kind of eliminate a few things. But,
yeah,
I don't know. I think, well, let me ask you this question. You said this. You said, I still haven't got a chance to play Spider-Man. So, no spoilers per se, but.
Got to play it.
When you said liberties, what did you mean by that? You said they took a lot of liberties with Spider-Man? Or some liberties with what he does?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Kyle?
I think we lost Kyle.
Yeah,
wait.
We may have.
Sorry, I did hit a hiccup and I lost you guys for a sec. What'd you say?
But sorry, you said that there was some
liberties.
Wiggle room in Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah. So I like his moveset. Like, he builds gadgets. And so things that Spider-Man couldn't just do as vanilla Spider-Man, they made into gadgets. And so like they were able to make his moveset really wide.
Okay.
Because anything he needed, he could just make for the plot. And so like the wiggle room, I guess, was there as far as having access to anything they wanted to do.
Okay.
And I kind of thought of, maybe they could facilitate that with other characters from... maybe the X-Men or something. I don't know how deep it goes, but mostly that.
Okay.
For one, Spider-Man does that, though. He's a tech guy. Yeah. He builds things.
Yeah,
right. Which gave
which is it's fine. I do feel like Marvel, like especially the MCU, has leaned really hard on gadgets.
Yes.
Actually, that's the worst thing about the MCU Spider-Man movies is so much gadgetry. I'm like, can we not just get a Spider-Man movie? Why is it always an Iron Man movie with web slingers? That's how I feel. But no, I see what Kyle's saying. I also think that they probably cannot get away with that as much with Wolverine. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I hope that they don't go the Arkham Asylum Spider-Man route. I actually hope it's kind of more of a free-form, non-lock-on, like, kind of system, like more of just a purely action fighting. Maybe you could lock on, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have that. Let's get
Sifu as Wolverine.
Yeah, like just fighting, attacking, moving. Like, I hope they really just make him feel like an animal. If
they went maybe the God of War, the new God of War route with him, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. There's clearly. I don't even think they dropped a date or anything. They just revealed it. So it could be like 2023, maybe even further, 2024. Considering,
because they're making
yeah,
Spider-Man
considering we know that Spider-Man is being made.
2030.
So let's move on a little bit here. And just, I don't think there's much to say about Gran Turismo, but
It's a driving game.
it's Gran Turismo,
Yeah.
and it looks great, and the cars are going to be even more.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure the cars will feel great with the adaptive triggers. And
oh
everything.
yeah, that's probably going to be the coolest part. I mean, I really liked Forza 2, Forza 3 for the 360 back in the day. Or no, Forza 1 and Forza 2, I guess. And they were really fun. I'm not a big, like, realistic car driving game kind of person. I never was really into Gran Turismo. So, I don't know, like, it's like one of the things where I'm like, it's kind of like soccer games or sports games where I feel like I'll probably like it when I play it, but I'm always going to choose something above it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
I'm going to pick
Like Mario Kart.
Mario Kart. Like, not even necessarily even in the genre, just in general, right? Like, I'm going to play Spider-Man before I play Gran Turismo, you know? And there's always going to be a backlog, so I'll never get to Gran Turismo, you know? So,
It looks nice though.
yeah. And I'm not going to pay $70 for it. I know they put a lot of effort in it, and I appreciate that. Good on them, but I'm not paying for it. All right. So Marvel Spider-Man 2. You know, I immediately thought of you, Kyle, when they started when I saw, I was like, oh, they're about to reveal it, because I just know how much you like Marvel Spider-Man. I was like, I wonder how excited Kyle is. Were you excited for this, or did you? Because this is the first reveal, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so what was your feelings, man? Were you pumped? Were you hyped? Were you ready?
This game gonna make me buy a PS5.
Hey.
Like that's just how it is. Now, at least I get to wait till 2023, but I'm gonna get one. Like, it's official now.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it is.
I'm super excited about it. Like, I don't know if I should glean this from the trailer, but having both of them on screen doing a team takedown made me think
2-player.
there might be some sort of either multiplayer or there's gonna be both of them fighting together at some point in the game, which is gonna be really cool.
That's super cool. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I just thought it was more cinematic, like, oh, they're together, just to tell you that they'll both be there. Maybe you go for that GTA 5 route, but that would be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. If you could, like, maybe swap on the fly in a fight, like, use them together. So let me,
Marvel vs. Capcom style.
so are they different in their play style? Like, do they have different sets of moves when it comes down?
Yes, they are completely different.
Interesting. I'm super pumped to play the original, but so like,
So it's better than Knack 2 is what I'm hearing.
confirmed.
No, I wouldn't say.
Confirmed.
Knack's in this game.
So, I mean, what do you hope? Like, if there's one thing that came through from Spider-Man, you know, hopefully no spoilers in this, but, like, is there something that you hope will happen in Spider-Man 2 that, like, you're, like, maybe looking forward to, or a new mechanic that you're like, oh, I really hope that they make this better, or anything?
So, yeah, my top two would be Venom, who was revealed in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And number two would be some sort of crossover between the Spider-Mans, because they're standalone games. You only play as one or the other.
Okay.
And so to have them in the same game would be cool.
Okay.
Agreed. I hope that you can play as one or both. Sorry, as either or both.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that there's 2-player. Although I don't know who I would play with.
Your future wifey.
No, she's not going to play.
Hey, man, you never know, son.
You can be Tom Holland.
I feel fairly
After you
confident.
introduce her to Super Monkey Ball, just bring her to Spider-Man 2. You're good.
Smooth transition.
Yeah. I'll say, speaking of segues, here's Spider-Man 2. You can play the black one.
Ooh.
You could play that.
So you're
I
like,
have
wow,
no
that's
words.
what
I have no words for that.
She's like, this is all I asked of you, Steve. How did you know?
Just look her in the eyes. Do you feel immersed?
Do you feel your blackness exuding it? What was it? What
Do
does
you
it
feel
say?
The swagger of a black team.
Exaggerated swagger.
It really makes you feel like you're Black Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Black
so do you guys think?
Wow.
So, do you think Venom is 100% the big bad, or do you think he's just
No.
okay?
It's hard to say. Since he was in the trailer, maybe, because the last two games, the big bads were in the trailer.
Okay.
I'll say this: the last one game, Spider-Man that I played, there were multiple villains that kind of came and went, and there was, I guess you could say, there's a big bad, but like, it's kind of more of like a gallery of bads. And if you listen to the trailer, there's somebody talking about like, oh, I wanted you to challenge me and maybe defeat me or something, show me a challenge, and Venom is the one who responds.
Exactly.
I don't understand. So there could be like a three-way fight here going on. But I'm going to say there's at least one other villain other than Venom who was a problem.
So,
see, I was confused about that because I was like, that's a weird voice actor to have as the human side of Venom. But now that you say that, that makes a whole lot more sense. There was a fourth person.
Yeah, that was actually, I wrote that down as I was going back through it again because I didn't realize it the first time. Because, I mean, Venom's symbiote or the person that he's like connected to. First of all, like, I don't know about all the different Spider-Mans. There's so many Spider-Mans, but like normally he's just like a American dude. But like one, he normally is communicating. If he's talking to Venom, he's talking to Venom like, hey, like do this, then don't do this, whatever, right? Not like, hey, I need something to challenge me. Why would you challenge yourself, right? So,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think that definitely wasn't. Because Eddie Brock or whoever they pick, whoever the Venom, guy isn't like a world-class mastermind. He's not really an evil guy. In fact, Venom eventually becomes, I think in the comics, becomes a good guy.
Yeah, and so actually my next thing was to say, I have a feeling that Venom is going to be a playable character at some point in the game.
Ooh.
Because, like you said, Venom, and then there's the Spider-Man symbiote version of Venom.
A black Spider-Man. So there's going to be two black Spider-Men.
Yes. Two black, dangerous Spider-Men. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all.
He's got a gun.
He's got a gun. He got a gun. Spider-Man got a gun. Sorry. I already had problems with the police, but now it's going to be a problem. But I have a feeling that Venom's going to be a playable character, but I wonder if it's going to be pure Venom or if they're going to give you a symbiote version of Spider-Man. There's a lot. Right? That's too much, right? Like, you got Miles Morales, you got, whatever Spider-Man, you got Venom, and then could you have a Venom version of either Spider-Man? I want Carnage.
That's why we got to wait till 2023.
I'm willing to bet that you play as Venom Peter at some point.
Venom Peter. Okay.
Yeah. Not Venom Peter, but whatever. Symbiote Peter, Black Suit Peter.
Okay. I just want Carnage, honestly. Because Carnage would be such an awesome villain.
They do a good job with villains.
Yeah, so.
Oh, yeah. The villains are all great in Spider-Man.
Okay.
Well, I meant by revealing them. So I was saying that there's a good chance that Carnage could be in the game.
It's just like, but once Carnage enters the Spider Universe, it's always a problem. Like, it's no longer like, hey, like, everything's cool and we need to save the day. It's like, yo, everybody's about to die, like, for real.
Yeah. Like, you really had to kill him.
Yeah. It's like Link with a gun, The Bokoblins take it serious.
He just did.
Flashback. Throw back to the old episode. So finally, God of War Ragnarok. Which I'm not super surprised by this. But this was the first time it was revealed, right?
No, we've seen teasers.
Yeah. This is the first, real trailer, right? Of, showing gameplay, showing more of the storyline. Like, we knew it was coming. And they've been
right. This is the first showing anything because all we had was a logo before this.
And actually, I read an article actually that the dude who's like the creative director of God of War, kept making a joke on his Instagram or his Twitter that would say, "I've never heard of it." That's like his tagline, his Twitter bio. I've never heard of it. And then when the trailer came out and it finally got revealed, he said, "Yeah, I've heard of it." So so he's been doing this for years apparently, and just kind of playing with the community. So people knew it was in the works, but he's been kind of saying I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. So have y'all played the most recent God of War?
No.
You said no?
No.
Yeah, I played as much as I could stomach. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed the premise. But it just wasn't a game for me. It was very cinematic, and but I guess what tipped me over the edge as far as like not being able to play it anymore was the button configuration.
Really?
Yeah, because it was like right trigger was punch, left trigger was throw your shield, left bumper was to put your shield up, right bumper was to throw the axe, then to pull it back. But then if you want to attack with the axe, you press both of the triggers. And I was like, I just want to press square to hit them with the axe.
So what did the face buttons do?
I don't remember what the face buttons did, but it was enough for me to keep having them to mash R2 to just fight, a random guy. It wasn't fun.
That wouldn't bother me. I should really play that game. I don't even think I've unwrapped it.
Yeah, I think it's free if you have a PlayStation Plus now.
No, I own it, but
okay.
I haven't unwrapped it. Yeah.
Yeah, I still haven't played.
Get it for free? Saying get it for free and don't unwrap it.
Oh wait, that's a good idea. Shoot.
Yeah, and then just sell that version. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was never a big God of War fan, and when it first came out, first of all, I didn't have a PlayStation, and then when it did come out,
same.
I didn't like some of the content in it personally. Particularly some of the stuff you had to do to like get your health back and stuff like that. So I just
you mean the old games?
old games. So
yeah, right, same.
So
same.
I just kind of stayed away from it. When the new one came out, I was like, oh, this seems like a different vibe, and I was like, what I'm gonna do is go on YouTube to get all this. And I knew a little bit of the storyline. I don't know how. Maybe
I might do that.
Like I just want to get the vibe. No, I watched a YouTube video. I think it was previous to all of that. But anyway, I was like, yeah, the story's pretty cool, but I didn't want to play the games. So this game, I was like, oh, this looks more like my speed. But I do remember, like, anytime I watch somebody playing it, particularly Marcus, it was just like a super, like, intense game, like difficulty. You could have a really difficult game, and it seemed like the buttons were very complex because of all the stuff that you could do. So I guess it's true to form. I haven't played it, so I don't know. Oh, I do have a story about God of War. Steve,
do tell.
One of our good friends. I guess I'll call him out. Jordan. I'll leave it at that. He was playing God of War one time in our dorm room back in college, and
one of the old ones.
Yeah, like he was playing one of the old ones, and I guess he was fighting Hercules. And I walked in the room, and I'm watching him fight Hercules, and just getting worked. Like he's getting worked, and I'm like. Yeah. And I'm watching how he's playing, and like, I don't like when you're watching somebody else as a bystander, you don't want to talk too much trash about how they're playing or what they should be doing. I try not to do that.
But it's Jordan.
I try not to do that in general because I'm like, hey, like people are allowed to play the game the way they want to. I might say like, oh, maybe block more, like, oh, you should try block more. And then, it's ignored. So then I started trash talking because he just kept playing and saying this and that. And I was like, yo, Jordan, like, honestly, like, you could beat this. Like, you just need to put more strategy, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah. He's like, it's really, really hard. He's like, you know what? You try it since you think you're so good.
No.
First, I never played God of War, ever. And this is a boss fight in the middle of the game. He has all kind of weapons, but I don't know what's happening. Dog. I beat Hercules first try. First try.
Snap.
And it wasn't even like competitive. It was just like...
Dang. He just worked.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, this is an action game. And I just need to dodge and like figure... And I had watched him play it enough to like pretty much...
You saw the...
Figure out Hercules'
all the
tails. And you know what I'm saying? And so, I beat him first try. And I want to say this, Kyle, about the controls. I don't know why, but I felt that way about Hades. Hades really messed with me in a first game in a long time where I really felt uncomfortable playing the game and still kind of feel uncomfortable. But
really,
you played on PlayStation?
Yeah, on 5. Yeah.
So I don't know what the controls are. I've played on Steam with the Xbox controller and it feels good.
Yeah, I don't know what I would assume the controls are the same.
I don't know. I just think it's something about the controls really messed with me. And maybe it's because I was playing other games as well, or maybe coming off something else. But like, it's the first time in a long time where I was like, yo, I'm not doing what I want to do. I feel really uncomfortable. I'm not even going to press this button because I don't like that it does a thing. Like, I felt like a little like somebody who never played games. But I'm kind of past that point. But we can talk about Hades on another day. But yeah.
No, that's a good way. Yeah, that's definitely how I felt with God of War. Because I enjoyed everything else about the game. The presentation is fantastic. The voice acting, the animation. It's super cinematic. The world design, perfect. The puzzles, when I did use the axe to do stuff, I was completely immersed. But then whenever I got into a fight, my fun it was just gone. I was not having fun anymore.
Fun sucker.
Yeah.
It was.
I feel like it's good to have those experiences though, because it kind of, I feel like, helps me to have empathy for people when they're playing a game for the first time. And like, you know, like you don't even think about it now, like moving, aiming, like jumping, like you don't even look at your controller. Right. It's just like an extension of you. But like for somebody who you're introducing to games or introducing to a new game, like it can be very unnatural and feel very strange. And, I meant to jump, but I threw out my bomb, you know?
You got to look down at the controller to see what button is which.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not a fun feeling, but I think it's good to experience because it just brings you back in.
Can I give Nintendo some credit? So in their games on the Switch, almost all the games I see on the Switch, the tooltips, at least the games that are made for the Switch, the tooltips are, instead of telling you like, oh, push X or A, it shows you a diagram of which button to press of the four face buttons.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
It's great.
Really awesome.
And they probably had to do that because the Joy-Cons, the ability to play on Joy-Con like screws up the layout. But like, it's way better than saying push A because no one knows what A is unless you've been playing for years. On the other hand, then they hit you with push R, but R is the bumper, not the trigger.
To this day, that is the worst thing. ZR and man,
they really screwed that up. It's such a bad. Like I can't.
Why?
I don't know, man.
You can you made the controller. You can name them anything. Why would you?
Z1 and Z2, perfect. Just keep it there. Like.
Well, it's worse because on the GameCube, the bumper, right? The right bumper was Z. So everyone, and the triggers have always been L and R. Like no one is going to look at a controller and think, oh yeah, the triggers, Z's.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Call them T's.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't remember what game I was playing recently, but it was just really, really messing me up. Like I cannot.
It might have been Hades.
Oh no,
it screws me up in Hades.
It's Pokemon Unite. Like I can never use the right ability because I have to actively think, and I always think I'm doing the wrong thing, so I do the wrong thing. So that,
and some games mitigate it by having it to where L and ZL or whatever they're called, they both do the same thing. So even if you miss input, hit the wrong trigger.
Well, they do that when they have enough. Well, they have so many buttons they don't need to use them all. But some games need to use every button.
Yeah,
simpler games.
I just feel like I feel like as a developer, you should just have like in subtitles L1, L2, like just right next to it, like ZL, L1, or Z. Well, I guess ZL, right? Is L1, ZL. Wait, no.
Is it LZ or ZL?
For the veterans.
I can see this is the thing. I can't even remember what the buttons are. It's Z.
I'm pretty sure it's ZL and ZR.
Yeah.
And it's L and R, right?
Right.
So L would be L1. ZL would be L2.
Like on the PlayStation.
I think that's the problem. Putting the Z before the letter messes with my head. If they put...
That's the problem?
I think so. If it said RZ and LZ, I think it would be easier for me. Because I would know, okay, it's the left trigger, like L1, L2. You know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, that would maybe...
I prefer what Xbox does. They call them LT and LZ. Or sorry, LT and LB for bumper and trigger.
Because they created the bumper idea, like the full bumper. Z, you know, so like... But that's still good because it's L first, right? L, R.
Left.
So you don't have to do the extra second to translate, okay, it's a Z, but which one? Right? Like, and we're doing this in split second, so I don't know. It's just, you know.
And that's bad for even categorization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess, like, you'd want to
That's
know
what
which side
bothers
it's
me.
on before you want to know the function.
Exactly. Like left, then the function.
Well,
right?
To me, it doesn't bother me. I read them at the same time. I can't even tell you now which one comes first because I read them as one unit.
But I think that's because you became you said you started gaming more recently, again, like more hardcore.
Sure.
And like your main console is a Switch. But like if you've been playing for a very long time, like every system, or it's like trying to reprogram your whole. It's like you're saying, Kyle, if all your actions are on the triggers, but then like all your like ancillary extra stuff are on the face buttons, it'd probably jack your mind up. Like aiming was X, and then like you know what I'm saying, like changing weapons was R2, you know, shooting was square. Like you'd be like, what in the world, you know?
That's how it felt. That's legit how it felt.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean, I know it's not that dramatic because I did look at the button scheme, and then as I played, it started to make more sense. But to the point that Braxton was making earlier, I didn't feel like it was worth my time to learn that deep of a new button configuration for a game I wanted to play.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, almost made me not play Hades as much, but I had paid for it, so I was like, nah, I'll keep going. And everybody tells me it's great, so, you know.
And I got God of War either for free or on sale,
Oh,
so I wasn't that committed to playing.
Zero investment.
No, none.
You probably got it for free because it was free with PlayStation Plus. So nah, man. I mean, I guess let me ask you guys this, kind of wrap it up for this particular episode. What would you rate this conference 1 out of 10? Would you guys and why? And maybe give your ratings for like Gamescom and this just for reference, but what would you guys rate it? And I can go first, just give you a second to think about it. I think I said this before, but I would give Gamescom probably like a 5-ish, maybe 6, just because way too much talking, as we talked about in the episode, way too much stuff that nobody cares about. And then I'd give PlayStation probably a 9 or 8, but I want to put the perspective that I think if this was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'd probably have given this like a 7 or 6.
Really?
Because I feel that the nature of like showcases and conferences, the bar is lower now. Like I don't feel that excitement. So if I see anything that's super cool or exciting, like DokeV or Wolverine, it's like, oh, this is a 10. But back in the day, this was like normal stuff. Right? Like, oh, that's DokeV. Oh, and then the new, you know, it just feels like most conferences are just telling you about remasters and sequels. And it's very few really cool new ideas. Like there's like 6 Marvel games, this random Vampire Blood game that nobody wants to play, Alan Wake Remastered. Cool. Great games, like in context, but I just feel like I'm not excited in general. So the bar is lower for me. So I'd give it an 8 or a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
What about you?
I give PlayStation a 10.
Ooh.
Because part of me is like, oh, give it a 9. That's more reasonable. But I can't think of anything I didn't like. So sure, why not? Give it a 10. I'm not my English teacher. And the other one, the Gamescom, I would give like a 5 or a 6 probably.
Fair enough.
It just overstayed its welcome.
It's like
take that, with
like
Mrs. Williamson.
Like this could have been an email.
Yeah. Can I call?
Can I call?
Snap.
What about you, Kyle?
So Gamescom, I'm gonna have to give it like a 4 because I couldn't even get through it. Like, it was from a presentation perspective. Like I'm not gonna roast the devs because I think the games are what they are. But as far as like the convention, like. Especially if I'd spent my money and gone somewhere and like it was the same vibe as far as the presentation, I'd be very upset.
Sure.
So I give it a 4, and then same basis, the presentation wise, PlayStation, as we talked about, you know, they delivered what we wanted. It seems like they've tailored every subsequent PlayStation, or day of play. They've tailored it based on feedback from the last one. You know, like they haven't rehashed the same stuff. Like And so it felt very streamlined. It felt very clean. You know, the games were presented in concise. Even the ones that were long, they weren't egregiously long. Like, 20 minutes, I think one was from Gamescom. The other one was 10 minutes. The longest one we saw, 4 minutes. It's longer than everything else, but I think it's reasonable. So,
sure.
Yeah, I think I'm a side with Steve as far as where the bar is. I think it might as well have been a 10.
Okay. Yeah, and just one more reason why I don't think I could give it a 10 is because of GTA 5. Honestly, that's the reason. Because I just
you bring up a good point.
It's kind of like why maybe I would have given Gamescom a little bit more, but the disrespectful Kojima 10-minute trailer at the end killed me. Like, it killed any of the positive vibes I had. Not that the game isn't great and awesome, but I really can't do a 10-minute Death Stranding trailer at the very end, right? But I would give this a 9 because they ended strong. They decided to if they had to put GTA 5, yes, it's a money decision. They put it in the middle, so it didn't, right after like the Alan Wake remastered, so it's kind of like a lull. And then they started ramping back up,
The pacing was better, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
100%. I'll stay at a 10, but you're right. That Grand Theft Auto was whack.
Yeah. Not trying to.
Oh, we can
change your number. I was just giving. I didn't give a clear explanation why I lowered it.
That makes a lot of sense.
A 10. So cool, guys. I mean, any other remarks about the PlayStation State of Play Showcase Treehouse?
Oh yeah, I really can't wait to not buy most of these games.
Well, I'll hopefully convince you one day to get a PlayStation 5, join the family, one of us, and maybe that'll change.
I'm looking forward to 75% of them being on next year's State of Play.
Yes. But you know what? I feel like this is a strong showing, so it gives me some confidence that the next one will be better than this. Like, we're kind of like mid-generation. Not mid, like early generation, sorry. Like 2-3 years in. So, like, we're going to start maybe seeing some new stuff. And this generation is not going to end for like 20 years, so.
Long haul.
Yeah, hopefully some good stuff. Cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. It was a good conversation. Like, we talked for almost 2 hours. Wow. I feel like there's even more we could talk about, but I feel like we should probably wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Steve. Thank you, Kyle, despite all of your setbacks that are going on with life in Louisiana. And I appreciate you just joining us and talking some PlayStation, conference life. So, and thank you.
Happy I could join.
Thank you, everybody who's listening. Super Agile Bros Nation, whatever. Thank you for.
I knew you would do that.
I'm sorry, it was just in my head. I couldn't stop it. I was already in the flow. I was like, well, I'm here now. But anybody who's listening to us, we appreciate you guys. Really, hearing comments from some of our friends talking about the show, and it really means the world to us. And please share it with whoever you can. Like it, whatever. We definitely want to keep doing this, and share your thoughts and comments below. In any way or form that you can. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you listening. Y'all take it easy, and until next time, peace.